race. Koenigsegg, yep, he's got the advantage, but unironically, the average ducks to the inside. What a move! But Koenigsegg accelerating back on the outside. And there goes Salty Bonkos to the inside. Bashing door panels, sparks flying, smoke spraying. The Butler is going to go wide. Salty Bonkos on the inside. They're a little bit off the pace, but now accelerating all 500 horsepower. Hello, good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to Virtual Auto Sports for the Season 35 finale of the Forza Spec Racing Series. I'm Dustin Moore on the mic. As almost always, we just happened to miss week number 4 here of Season 35, which was planned, by the way. I was not going to be able to make it from the get-go. I let Slow Motion Fire know, and T-Phrase74 here on Twitch stepped in and provided the commentating duty, and hopefully he did you all, hopefully he did me proud, and then hopefully he did good by you all by being able to cover those races from start to finish, all 2 of them there in week number 4. But here it goes to the finale, week number 5, the final race. The points are doubled. Who is going to come out as the champion? We'll take a look at the standings after we get done with the qualifying here as a refresher of who is in what position and who are the drivers who are in the running for the Season 35 championship. I can tell you, AMS Storm, sitting atop the leaderboard right now, is looking to become the one of the, not many, but one of several Forza Spec Racing Series two-time champions. So we'll see if AMS Storm's able to make that happen. He's got his buddy AMS Udakan, and then you've got RZM McQueen, who is third on that leaderboard. We're going to see, again, after we get out of qualifying here, what that leaderboard looks like, not only just for the top 3 or the top 5 or even the top 10, but for everybody, because even those who come into the series knowing that they are just not going to be able to perform at the championship level, they're still out there fighting for position. They have a bone in this, a dog. What is the analogy? A dog in this fight, or the proverbial cliche phrase thing that said a dog in the fight? I don't know. It's a horrible, horrible thing to say. They have something in it for them. They want to try to do as good as they can here in Season 35 in the VW Scirocco, and then carry that momentum into Season 36 to see how much more they can climb up the leaderboard. By the way, let me know if my mic sounds okay. I finally got the 2004 update. Not 2004 as in the year, but 2004 I think is what the update number was for Microsoft Windows 10. And it, of course, fiddled with my audio. So let me know if something doesn't sound right over the course of the broadcast, and I will do my darndest to fix it. I did have a situation where I was testing things, and Microsoft said, oh, we can only make out like 15-20% of your volume mic, or your mic volume. And I'm sitting there thinking, no, well, that's not good. I don't want to be coming in as a little minuscule voice behind all the revving motors here, the VW Scirocco. But it looks like you guys are saying, that everything is good. And now Slow Motion Fire telling me, actually Carry Out telling me that we're about ready to go. Slow Motion Fire was telling me to spectate earlier, but they hadn't even loaded the lobby up yet, so I didn't even have that option. And now I can go into spectate mode. We've got 23 drivers, a full lobby lined up to conclude things here in Season 35. And I appreciate y'all coming back to the channel here. It's amazing what a 2-week gap can do to any channel, any broadcaster on any platform. You disappear for 2 weeks and people just assume that you walk straight off the edge of the earth. I assure you, I'm okay. I'm okay. And as a matter of fact, I'm pretty excited about what's to come here in the world of gaming. Actually, it's already here. I just need to catch up. And so I'm going to propose a few things here at the end of the broadcast that might get some of you to perk up a little bit and be interested. For others, you may not care, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm going to do what I can to kind of ease myself back into broadcasting. As again, for those of you who have not been following my Twitter, just dealing with a little personal health issue, a little health matter, trying to get that all sorted out. But I feel fantastic today. It's a little stormy outside. I'm feeding off of that energy. I've got myself a nice little mug of coffee here. Not the best coffee I've ever tasted, but hey, it'll do the trick. And then we've got some great racing going on here. Not to get to the racing part yet, because I always hate to jump ahead and miss so much of the action and so much of the fun that is just right in front of us as opposed to down the line. We've got 3 laps of qualifying to see who is going to have the quickest lap, the quickest time in those 3. With the 2 flying laps, the 1 standing start, can AMS Storm grab pole position? That would be a great way to head into the finale with that pole spot, trying to fend off AMS Udakan, RZM McQueen, and, of course, everybody else who's out there on the track. T-Frey says, it's nice to hear your voice again. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you stepping in and filling the void there, or what would have been a void had there been no broadcast for week number 4. And I suspect it went well. Slow Motion Fire didn't tell me that you burnt down the series, the house, or anything like that. So everything seems to be standing, which is, hey, that's as good as I left it, right? I didn't do much more to hand over to you apart from, hey, here's a broadcast. Take it. Here goes nothing, says Chaos Fox. There you go. That's the attitude. Let's go ahead and give y'all some game audio. And let's go out there to Dubai, the city circuit. And it is what is this? This is the city reverse track. City reverse. And Dubai is it was the face of Forza Motorsport 7, and by that I mean it just was the new entry, the new track entry, a fictional track entry here with Forza Motorsport 7, and I don't know, I'm not in love with it. I would have much rather have had this track in the actual city. T-Frez says good layout. It's not bad. I mean, it's a good, especially here in the Scirocco. It's a good mix of high-speed corners, very slow-speed corners. As we see Joe Beardy, he's going to lead the pack of 22. I think somebody didn't make the cut. Actually, no. Looks like according to our ticker, all 23 drivers are out there. I'm filling that 24th spot as a spectator, and here comes Joe Beardy now into the slowest corner of the bunch. Here at the city circuit, we'll go ahead and throw some stats into the lower right-hand corner, and we'll see who comes across the line on the standing start with the quickest lap. Ghibli Giblets says, the map makes me thirsty for water. They did well provoking the heat and dirt. Yeah, I mean, it does, in terms of the natural elements and in the feel of being in the desert, it definitely gives that off. I mean, you got all these palms, you've got the sandstorm, you've got a little bit of the traffic over there on the highway. Which actually gives nothing to it being a desert climate, but just adds to the immersion, I suppose, of the environment. But I can appreciate all of that. I'll be happy if the next Forza Motorsport title, and I can stop calling it that because it is Forza Motorsport, which is going to be the next title. I'll be happy if the majority of tracks remain as real-world tracks as opposed to the fiction. I'm just not a big fan of the fictional circuits. I'm not. SVR Blackout coming across the line at a 122.325. That doesn't mean to say that they shouldn't be in there. I'm just one little speck in the Forza community, so I can understand that there needs to be probably one new fictional track in Forza Motorsport. Heck, they may even throw 2 or 3 in there. But I'm more keen or interested in what's to come with regards to real-world circuits. Here comes Fear the Fun, currently with the 8th quickest time. SVR Blackout's going to hold on to the top time as the rest of the 23 cars, the remaining 3 of them now come across the line before the first slew of flying laps. hit the timer and see what they're able to accomplish. We're going to see some sub 120s here, I would imagine. And by the way, Shrek 420 official. Oh my, this is Shrek 420 official now with the host. Thank you so much there, Shrek. And then Razor 118 with the follow a couple of days ago. Sober David subscribed 2 months ago, and actually during our last broadcast, 2 weeks ago. Fear the Fun now with a 119.830. Look at Fear the Fun. He's looking to spoil the fun for some folks out there today. You better fear him. He'll take some points away from you. And Ghibli Giblet saying, wahoo, 4 months. Thank you so much, Ghibli Gibs. 4 months, tier 1 subscription. I don't sub enough to, or I don't sub. What am I even talking about? I don't broadcast enough to warrant a subscription, but I do appreciate the support. Quickest time still. Actually, no. Wipe that. It's going to be RZM McQueen, followed by SVR Blackout, followed by Cratrim. Fear the Fun now has dropped back to 4th quickest lap time. AMS Storm, our leader on the leaderboard overall here in Season 35, currently with the 5th quickest time. And sure enough, he finds himself back there with AMS Udakan, who is currently in 6th in terms of quick lap. So we'll see what happens here on this 3rd and final lap out at Dubai City Circuit in reverse, as we see Storm getting through what would be, I guess, considered a bus stop, but it goes a lot quicker than your traditional bus stop. I guess Daytona is a pretty quick bus stop. GTR Aftermath, who before I hopped onto the microphone during our countdown said that he's happy, he or she is happy to be joining one of these broadcasts for the first time, and welcome GTR Aftermath, and Aftermath rooting on Blackout. All right, well, Blackout right now, 118.801. That's going to be good enough for pole as the rest of the pack gets ready to come across the line. Let's go to AP1 Raccoon, who's coming through that final left-hander back toward the start-finish line. The theme for all the liveries out here today, not today, all throughout the last 5 weeks, has been fictional corporations that exist in TV/silver screen universe. So whether it be from a movie or from your favorite or maybe not so favorite TV series, that's where some of these liveries hail from. That's the inspiration. And every theme, or every year, every season, the Forza Spec Racing Series doesn't impose a theme because you don't necessarily have to abide by it, but they encourage you to. It just makes things all the more fun. Let's take a look at those lap times. A 127.503 there by Joe Beardy. AMS Udakan with a 119.907. Fear the Fun with a 19.830. Gonna beat out Udakan there. Kuda with a 123 dirty. So the fastest dirty lap will always be slower than the slowest clean lap, right? That's the nice little caveat that I like to throw out there every single time we go through qualifying. So Kuda will find himself at the back of the pack here for the start of the Season 35 finale. CMD Slipstream with a 119.951. AMS Storm with a 119.876. That's not going to be good enough to best Fear the Fun's time. So AMS Storm will maybe find himself back there in 4th, 5th, or maybe even 6th, although that would be probably occupied by AMS Udakan. RZM McQueen, top time at a 119.189. Carry out with a 125.85. Check that. SVR Blackout with a 118.801. Dude's on a whole nother level there. Almost 0.3 of a second better than the next driver. 124.889 by Grim Cratrim with a 119.734. Sprazaus with a dirtied 123.863. 121 there for Barney, a 122 for Chaos Fox, who says, hey, I'm just going to wing it here. A 125 for Fox Jason D. A couple of 121s there for Raccoon and Jacob T. BOED. It's going to be Raccoon who gets the better of those two. Gumby Greg with a 129.107. That's going to be a dirty lap. A 121 for Mortismo. A 122 there for Modern Weapon. Audrex with a 125.00. SVR Unku with a 121.495 and Slow Motion Fire with a 121.381. I must admit, I'm quite surprised that we don't see more sub 120s than what we actually have on the board. I can only count maybe 5 or 6 of them, so I'm a little bit taken aback by that. Let's go take a look at those standings as we enter this 9th and final race of Season 35. And yes, AMS Storm at the top of the leaderboard with 292 points. That is already not only here for Storm, but for all of the drivers on the leaderboard, taking account for the week in which they scored the least amount of points. So if this week, week number 5, happens to be one of their worst weeks or their worst week, this week will be dropped. So there's a little bit more than just knowing that there's the delta between first to second to third to fourth, knowing which week is each driver's drop week or how poorly they must do here in week 5 to make week 5 their drop week. That factors into how things are going to ultimately tally up here on the leaderboard. So we won't be just looking for simple little finish it in terms of how the drivers finish out here. There's a little bit more to it behind the scenes. Slow Motion Fire will take care of the math after the fact and confirm who gets the crown. Actually, the trophy. They probably won a trophy. RZA McQueen there with 282. Third position, and of course it's all figurative anyway. There's no actual trophy, crown, or anything. Fourth is SVR Blackout with 266, and once you get past McQueen, really you're out of the range of championship. McQueen is even on the fringe himself. Something super drastic would have to happen to our top 2 drivers to be able to make that big of a jump. Actually, the jump from third to second is entirely possible. That transition from third to first is going to take a little bit more effort. Of course, after qualifying, anything's possible. Cratron with a 246, Fear the Fun with a 219, 205 there for carryout. Odd Drex is in 8th. Unku 9th, Muertismo rounds out the top 10. Then you've got Born as Ghost, Jacob TBOED, IPR Wolf, Slipstream, Chaos Fox, Slow Motion Fire, AP1 Raccoon, LSEM Barney, Kuda 93, Joe Beardy, Fox Jason Deese, Brazals, Modern Weapon, Beer, and there are a couple of other drivers who just don't make the cut here if you don't hit the top 24 for the leaderboard. And sure enough, as that footnote suggests there at the bottom, AMS Storm going for his second Forza Spec Racing Series championship. The last one, and actually the first one he ever earned, was back there in season 24, which happened to be the first season that I broadcast back in the Fiat X19 days. How about that? So Storm looking to become the 2-time here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. We'll see if he's able to pull it off. I don't have any of our drivers in the driver's spotlight, the hot seat, if you will. So we're going to go ahead and mosey on over to we're already there, to the in-game. You guys saw the leaderboard, right? I'm just not imagining that. You guys did see it, I hope. We're going to go back into the game view. And Slow Motion Fire is saying, hey, we're going. We're already ready to go. Carry out, tires are going to be an issue this race, maybe even 2 pit stops for most. Yeah, I mean, that's where we left things. Where at least I left things after broadcasting for week number 3. At least 4 of the 6 races, maybe even 5 of the 6 races, tire degradation was most certainly a factor in those events. So how that's going to play out here in race number 9, week number 5, we will see. It's going to be Blackout on pole with McQueen sharing space there on row number 1. What's up there, Mortismo? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Glad to be back in. Rougher 08. Thank you very much for the follow. Drivers all lined up. SVR Blackout will signify the start of the race as soon as he moves off the line. Kick the tires, light the fires, ladies and gentlemen. It is season number 35, the finale, here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, race number 9, and we are underway. RZM McQueen is going to be trailing back behind SVR Blackout as they go into turn number 1, which they have named Carpal Tunnel. How about that wordplay? Carpal Tunnel, they go through, and all the drivers seem to be pointed in the right direction as their VW Scirocco comes through the darkness of the tunnel without those headlamps on. Can we get some headlamps here, Forza 7? Can we get some headlamps? SVR Blackout's going to lead them back up the hill, and I'm going to have to get acquainted here with all these names. The drivers have put together the list of turn names for me to read through, and yes, some of them are going to be quite funny, and even more so for me to say, of all people. And here they go back into the slowest corner of them all. I'll have to figure out which one that is. The map that I have doesn't, I don't know. It's pretty good, but it's not. Well, let's just put it this way. My printer didn't print it out very well. SBR Blackout still out in front. Back behind him is RZM McQueen. AMS Uticon, they're in third position. Cratrum in fourth. AMS Storm, that's going to be the name to watch. He's back there in fifth. He needs to get out in front. He can't stay that far back throughout this race. Audrex in sixth. Fear the Fawn in seventh. He at one point had one of the quicker lap times there during qualifying. CNV Slipstream in eighth. Ninth is LSE and Barney. SVR Unku, they're in 10th. Then it's Chaos Fox, Jacob, AP1 Raccoon, Muertismo, Carryout, Slow Motion Fire, Joe Beardy, Fox, Jason D, Kuda, Grim, Modern Weapon, and then Sprazow's all kinds of turned around there in the final left-hand corner. Gumby, Greg, 23 drivers who started, still out on the track. Back through Carpal Tunnel they'll go. Now up into turn number 2, which they call Duty Free Shop. I don't know. I'm just reading. I'm just a mindless drone reading off of a sheet. Turn number 3, that's not dirty, as they go through the sand, which, yes, in fact, is very, very dirty. And so the driver's trying to keep it on the asphalt because that sand, it will effectively act as a sand trap, slow you down quite a bit. And you'll notice, especially as we go on and the tire degradation does play into the race, we might find a few folks over there building sand castles here at the Dubai City Circuit Reverse. Blackout still out in front here on the back end of but lap number 2. Leading RZM McQueen as the 747 goes flying up above. How appropriate with the release of Microsoft Flight Simulator here this week. RZM McQueen trying to track him down, not losing much space. You don't want to lose tabs of any of these drivers. They'll take off on you real quick. AMS Uticon back there lurking in the distance in third position. AMS Storm has now moved from 5th to 4th with Cratrum back to 5th. Audrex in 6th. Slipstream in 7th. Fear the Fawn in 8th. Back through Carpal Tunnel. Mateo Max says faster. What, me reading or the drivers? And I don't know what I'm reading. I mean, I'm reading the corner names, but that's about all the reading I can do right now. This racing is pretty darn exciting, even though our top 2 drivers here really departing the pack. I don't know that we've seen many races here in Season 35 where the top drivers have gotten off to such a commanding lead so early on in the race. Let's go back to 4th position with AMS Storm, who's going to be quickly approaching his teammate, at least by tag there on the gamer tag, the AMS part, the Alien Motorsport team. And there goes Uticon, who's going to slide it out up against the wall, actually stays off the wall, brings it back to the inside. That's going to allow Cratrum to go to the outside, now through the bus stop, and Uticon is going to go ahead and cut himself his own path up over the curbing, kicking some of them cones. Let's see those Shadow 288 codes there in the chat if you've got them. Paste them, post them if you got them there in the chat. AMS Uticon is going to go ahead and just make a new route out here at the Dubai City Circuit. Audrex now also moving up to 5th. Slipstream in 6th. Fear the Fun in 7th. Barney in 8th. Jacob has moved all the way up now to 9th position with Chaos Fox rounding out the top 10. Here comes AMS Storm. He's all on his lonesome right now, and he's going to have to he's really got his work cut out for him to catch up with the top 2 drivers. Now, it's going to be a matter of what the top 2 do to hold on to their position. Are they going to play a lot of defense, or is the top driver going to play a lot of defense with second place playing a lot of offense, trying to get around? Or are they going to play it safe, hold on to some of that tire, not wear it out too much and too fast, and get it safely into the first pit stop here on this 57-lap race? Mateo Max, by the way, good to see you. Thanks so much for tuning in. Great to have you here, and hope you're doing well. IR Baron laughing there at AMS Uticon. Let's go ahead and take a look back to that and the Virtual Autosport Rewind. Yeah, why not? I know Uticon would rather we just go ahead and dump that replay, but that wouldn't be fun. Watch him as he brings it back to the inside here, trying to get a position back from Cratrum, and sure enough, he goes cone hunting. Ghibli Giblets dropping him in there. DWM Frog as well. Mateo Max saying, woohoo! Like that Virtual Autosport Rewind. Very effective there. Here comes Cratrum lurking now in the background, which was formerly Udakan in Storm's role. Now it's Storm who's driving all by himself. He can't even see first and second. That's how quickly RZM, McQueen, and Blackout, second and first respectively, have taken off. And as a matter of fact, they're closing in on some of these back markers. Now into turn number 4, which Melange? I don't know. Some of these things are going right over my head. They might very well be inside jokes for the racers, and I'm just reading them off for them so that they can all chuckle. Here comes Storm in that Resident Evil Umbrella Corporation liveried VW Scirocco. By the way, a 700 performance index here in Forza Motorsport 7. That's pretty high up on the performance index spectrum. Then it's not 200, it's 357 horsepower, 331 foot-pounds of torque. This vehicle weighing 2,493 pounds. Let's go ahead and move back up to second position to see if RZM McQueen is making any headway, or if, again, he's just going to sit comfortably here on the back of SVR Blackout's bumper. This would make things interesting in the final points total if these two are able to eke out a first and second place win, keeping the AMS brothers from being in those top 2 positions. Of course, we got a lot of racing to go here. Anything can happen. And I'm going to guess, at what feeble math I'm able to perform, that it's going to take a little bit more than AMS Storm finishing in third to give RZM McQueen a chance to grab the championship. He's going to need a little bit more help from his friends out here on the track to put AMS Storm and Udakan a couple positions back. Here they come into the bus stop section, which I'm gonna think they're talking about Camelback. I think that's Camelback, that little hump right there. Makes sense to me. Burj Al Chicane, I don't know. That's probably, I don't know. Yaba Dubai Do is the final left-hander, at least that much I know. I should have studied this made-up track map a little bit closer coming into this one. But here they come back through Carpal Tunnel. This is the one I like the most. Good wordplay. Good wordplay. And for 57 laps, this front-wheel drive VW Scirocco, you might very well have a little bit of carpal tunnel filled in the knuckles after you get done with this race. Udakan would like that deleted. Me and Storm would like that saved. There you go. Clip it. And here comes McQueen, who finds himself now about 2.5, maybe even 3 car lengths back from SVR Blackout. Let's go ahead and drop back. We still have AMS Storm in third, Craytrim in fourth, Slipstream all not by himself. He's actually got Fear the Fun right behind him. Those bubbles are sharing space there on the track map. Here comes Fear the Fun to the outside. CMB Slipstream going to take that inside line. Let's see who has the momentum coming out. Well, Fear the Fun, that certainly is going to have it working for him as he goes along the catch fence there. And now Slipstream's going to be on the inside. Well, actually he drops back there as Fear the Fun slams the door, and up to fifth goes Fear. And let's see if Fear can really spoil the party here for AMS. He's tracking down both, well, actually, no, he already has AMS Udakan in his rearview mirror. He's got Craytrim and AMS Storm, I say out in front, but he's got a lot of ground to cover. Cody the Sergi, or, hold on, wait for it. Cody, I'm just going to go with Cody. Thank you so much for the follow. Maybe it is Cody the Sergi, but let me know if I'm wrong. It wouldn't be the first time. There goes Fear the Fun, further cementing his 5th place finish as he comes out of the tunnel, back up the hill. Somewhere around here is turn number 5, Furiosa. I like it. I'm actually quite surprised that there was not a play on the Scirocco term, which, as I understand it, is a... I don't know if it's I think it's actually is it Italian? It's somewhere in the Mediterranean. It's a term for a wind off of the, and gosh, I'm drawing a blank on what body of water that is. But basically you get, and hold on, here comes Weatherman Dustin Now the weather here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. Yeah, the Scirocco actually is a term for a weather pattern, a wind that goes up into the Mediterranean, carrying in all the moisture off of the whatever sea that is. Yep, there we go, showing my geography prowess, right? Fear the Fun still there in 5th position, trying to hold off, and he goes up over the curbing wide there through the tunnel. You got to be careful there. You don't want to unsettle the car and then find yourself up into the concrete barrier, making an early pit stop. Granted, if well, there goes Fear the Fun. He's going to go ahead and go sand surfing a little bit. If you were to pit now, perhaps it wouldn't be the worst thing to happen to you. If 2 pit stops is the name of the game here in race number 9, week number 5 of season 35, then a pit at this juncture may not be too terrible. Not optimum, not ideal, but not too terrible. Our leaders now getting through some of those back markers. Let's go back up to McQueen here in 2nd position. RZ and McQueen, as a matter of fact, sporting the orange number plate there on the side of the Scirocco, which signifies first time racing here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. No stranger, obviously, to Forza Racing. He's competing with some of the best that you'll find in the community and doing a heck of a job doing it. There's Martismo turned around there in the tunnel. Hopefully everybody's able to avoid that. It's very dark in there. Difficult to make out, especially with Martismo's car. Looks like it's painted up a bit on the dark end of the spectrum, so he's kind of blending in there, if you will. Let's go back to last lap when we had Fear the Fun. He would probably rather I ditch this clip, but as he goes surfing through the sand, up the hill, out of turn 3, that's not dirty. He made it dirty. Oh, yes, he did. AMS Storm there in 3rd still. Cratrum in 4th. Fear the Fun in 5th. CMU Slipstream has now moved up to 6th with Jacob, Joe Beardy, Chaos Fox, and Uku 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. So something happened here to Cratrium. Donde está the Cratrium? Oh, actually, no, he's there in 4th. I don't know if my timing... Oh, that's what happened. Cratrium actually got around Fear the Fun and moved up to 4th position. So let's go back to Fear the Fun here. And pardon me as you guys see Fear the Fun surfing on a loop. Pro streamer. Hey. Yeah, sure. Whatever. Udakan would like, oh yeah, man, I'm going back in time there with the commentary. If you guys are enjoying the content, please click that follow button. If you have any thoughts on the racing so far, maybe you're rooting somebody on, please post that in the chat. It's always that much more fun when we get a little bit of viewer, broadcaster, commentator engagement going. Definitely. Don't leave me out here alone. I'll go crazy, and then things will go where we all don't want them to go. And not in a good way. Don't be misconstruing that. Here comes Joe Beardy in 8th position. He finds himself back behind Jacob T. Boed. And actually, let's go ahead and ride on board here with Joe Beardy. One of those drivers who I've really had super high hopes for, and that's not to say he's done a pitiful job at racing. He hasn't. He's done phenomenal from one race to maybe every other race, and then in between he has these little bouts either with inconsistency or just not getting the run that he needs to be as competitive as he possibly can. I mean, we've seen him be up there in the top, I believe in the top 5 in some of these races, and would love to see Joe Beardy make his way back up there. I mean, he's not far off right now, currently running in 8th with Jacob out in front of him in 7th. Jacob's one of those names that I'm still getting familiar with, and we'll see if he carries his momentum into season number 36. What will the vehicle be? Well, we just don't know. Whoever is the champion here in season 35 ultimately has the decision on what vehicle will be run in the subsequent season. So whoever gets the most championship points, the top 4 weeks of points out of the 5 weeks of racing, they get to pick a car. Slow Motion Fire will post up some pretty obscure photos. If you're a driver, you get to guess the vehicle. If you guess the vehicle correctly, you get to pick one of the 9 events, one of the 9 racetracks that everybody will visit there in season number 36. Here comes Joe Beardy with the Sprunk livery, which I believe is from Grand Theft Auto, right? I think that's where that one comes from, which isn't really a movie or a TV show yet. Who knows what'll happen there? Anything's possible. SVR Blackout continues to lead this race. I don't know that he's even given up position at this point. RZM McQueen seems to be pretty content with second place right there behind him. AMS Storm in third. Fourth is Cray Trip, Fear the Fun in fifth. Slipstream in sixth. Seventh is Jacob TBOD, who we're seeing right now, or at least we're seeing Joe Beardy, who's trying to chase him down. And it's Chaos Fox, who's moved up another position to ninth. SVR Unku in 10th, Carry Out in 11th, Barney, Slow Motion Fire, Udakan all the way back into 14th position, Audrex in 15th, Kuda in 16th, Fox Jason D, Modern Weapon, AP1, Raccoon, and it's Grem, Sprzaus, Gumby Greg, Mortismo. Again, 23 drivers, and I say this while I knock on my table here, which is made out of real wood, so I feel confident in not jinxing myself here, but we've got all 23 drivers who started the race still out here on the track. If you want to run with the FM4 crew for season 36, well then don't do it now, but there's the link, reddit.com/r/FM4. You'll find all the information about the season 35, which is basically almost an exact replica of what season 36 will be, the only difference being the vehicle, the build of the vehicle, and then of course the schedule of tracks. Apart from that, the rules, the point system, the expectations of the drivers out there on the track, all the same. Joe Beardy still just not going to be able to find a way around Jacob T. Let's go ahead and move back to sixth here as CMD Slipstream starting to make a run at Fear the Fun, who, as is often the case with Fear the Fun, gets up pretty darn high in the standings out on the track, and then, as we just saw right there, tag the wall, and that's going to allow Slipstream to take a run here on the inside through Carpal Tunnel. Now up to turn number 2, duty-free shop. Then that's not dirty, where Fear has already made it dirty more than one occasion. Melange, then Furiosa. Then it's up to the Outbreak. And then turn 7, which I think is this very, very slow corner here, the slowest on the track. Where is the Apex? And speaking of which, Fear the Fun momentarily thought the Apex was on the driver's side door panel there of CMB Slipstream, giving them a little bit of a love tap and putting a few shiners there on the left-hand side. And I don't mean shiners as in the adult beverage, shiners as in a few little elbows, hefty elbows and fists there into that driver's side door panel. Some scrapes and bruises now on the side of Slipstream's car. He moves up to 5th. 7th is Jacob T. and Joe, as we've just recently seen, and it is still Carry Out in 10th, Chaos Fox in 9th. Let's go back up to the front with 2nd place, RZM McQueen, who's 3rd overall on the leaderboard at this point. Squatch Vader, what's going on? Looks like a good race. It is so far, and if we do in fact see multiple pit stops, probably not more than 2. I think if you exceed 2, then you're in a bad way. But with 2 pit stops possible, that's going to make things interesting. Don't turn away now. Don't think that that these two have got it bagged as far as 1st and 2nd go. And don't count AMS Storm. Don't count Craychim, Slipstream. Even Fear the Fun may come back up through the ranks. And then we'll keep our eye on AMS Unicon now from 14th to 12th. Something happened to him earlier on at about lap 6 or 7. And now we get the loading screen, which usually means we are losing somebody. And we'll see who that is there on the ticker. Modern Weapon. Unfortunately, that's not the first time Modern Weapon has been dealing with the gremlins of the server connection. And so an early trip to the pit stall for our first driver of the evening. Fear the Fun there in 6th as I look at the bubbles back behind our leaders, Jacob TBOD. And yeah, we got a really good battle starting to develop from 7th on back to 10th even with Joe Beardy back there. Let's go to Chaos Fox, who's moved up from 9th to 8th now at this point. We've got a couple of drivers into pit lane. Let's see if I can't grab those names. It's going to be CMB Slipstream and Fear the Fun. Those two who were in close proximity of one another, deciding that they would take this opportunity for the beginning of lap number 17 to pull into pit lane, get a fresh set of tires, a full tank of fuel, and now see how far that takes them here in this 57-lap race. Look at Chaos Fox burning the rubber there on that front right. Let's take a look at how things are dialed up here on the telemetry. 60% up front, 18% on that rear left with only 14 on the rear right. Tells you a little bit about the dynamics out here at the Dubai City Circuit reverse. Go ahead and close that up, and let's ride on board with Chaos Fox, who now finds himself in 6th after those pit stops by Fear and Slipstream. Squatch Vader says, I follow Chaos Fox here on Twitch. Good guy. Yeah, Chaos Fox is quite the regular broadcaster. If you guys are looking for somebody who is more regularly broadcasting Forza Motorsport and then other things too. I know that's not shoehorned or locked into just the Forza directory, but broadcasts other titles. So give him a follow here. SGR Chaos Fox on Twitch. Gumby Greg up there, one of the back markers, going to try to make way here for Jacob and Joe, and does so. Oh my gosh, look at that. A little bit of a sandwich there on that "Have a nice day" sticker, the back of the back of Jacob's car, and so Jacob he was able to recover, and Chaos Fox actually falls back to 6th. I think that's 7th now. And sure enough, AMS Uticon up to 6th position just like that after a few pit stops by some of our drivers and a little bit of contact there. And here they come up to Yaba Dubai Do. I got to slow down for that one. Let's see if I caught that here on the Virtual Autosport Rewind. SGR Chaos Fox. Oh, looks like I was maybe just a little bit too slow there on the replay trigger, and now we've got drivers who have pulled off to the side of the road, which typically means that they are going to go ahead and back out of the race and allow Modern Weapon to get back in. Now, of course, the two drivers who are not so fond of this idea, can you guess who they are? SVR Blackout and RZM McQueen. That means they're going to have AMS Storm and even Uticon, who's moved up to 4th, right there behind him. Right there behind him. Those two drivers, Blackout and McQueen, couldn't be any more frustrated at this point. Chaos Fox saying restart, and you booped Jacob by accident, not trying to. Oh yeah, I mean, we saw it, Chaos Fox. There was nothing intentional there, not at all. No ill intent suspected. Let's go back here while we wait for the restart to occur. Let's take a look at those standings as a reminder with AMS Storm, who is trying to go as a 2-time champion here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. It's been a while. Back in season number 24, the first ever Forza Spec Racing Series season that I broadcast here on Twitch. Trying to go 2 times. Once in the X19, here in the VW Scirocco, and if Storm can pull it out, he will be picking the vehicle for season 36. AMS Uticon there, you see, back by 7 points from his AMS teammate. Then it's RZM McQueen in 3rd at 282 points to Blackout's 266. So Blackout, while mathematically, I don't know that there's any way that Blackout would be able to pull out an upset here and move to the very top of the standings after race number 9, is still doing his darndest to take some points. I mean, if you're one of these drivers in the top 8 heck, even the top 10, you're here to spoil the party. Like, you're here to take some points off the board. And rightfully so. That's racing for you, right? It's just the top drivers can't expect to have that final race all to themselves. If that were the case, we would just throw the top 5 out here and say, go for it. Oh, and it looks like we're going to jump out of the lobby as well. So they're going to do an entirely new lobby. So bear with us as the organizer, Slow Motion Fire, coordinates the restart. With these longer finale races, this one here today at the Dubai City Circuit in reverse, 57 laps. With these longer races, when there is a disconnect, they do try to loop that driver back into the event. Now, in this case, so early in the race, like I mentioned, those drivers who were out front are not liking that, and those drivers who took a pit stop are not liking this, because they would have been in a much better position for the restart than what they are going to be facing after making that stop not more than 2 or 3 laps ago. It wasn't that long ago. All right, looking to get into the new lobby. Caster Raccoon says, yay, best start all season, and I drilled the wall, turn lap number 1. I hear you, Raccoon. I mean, you get all excited. You got good qualifying. You're ready to hit the track. Maybe it's nerves. Maybe it's just a little bit too excited. And you go and scrape the wall, and immediately you just kind of feel that disappointment in your gut of, man, I could have done much better. I could have done much better in this one. All right, so we're getting close. We've got 22 of the 20. Well, we've got 20. Yeah, we do have 22 of the 23 drivers. Actually, no, I'm a liar. We've got 21 of the 23 drivers loaded up into the lobby. So hopefully we'll be able to get the next 2. And then we'll get back out there with what I believe was the start of lap number, gosh, I'm probably just guessing at this point, lap number 17 or 18. And as a reminder with these standings, the way things work here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, they're taking your best 4 weeks out of 5 weeks to calculate your championship points. So it's not just as easy as McQueen finishing so many positions higher than AMS Storm, because what then happens is they take into account the worst week. If week number 5, this race here tonight, week number 5, race number 9, happens to be the worst for any one of these drivers, well, then week 5 is the drop week. And depending on what their top 4 weeks were, that may keep them in the spot that they're in, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does drop them down. So there's a lot more to this than just how the drivers finish this 9th and final race of Season 35. And Slow Motion Fire I believe, will try to work that out for us as we conclude the broadcast here tonight. So we should be able to unofficially, and I'm sure Slow Motion Fire will double check the math and that everything looks good, but we'll unofficially have our champion here for Season 35 at the end of tonight's race. Well, it just got that much more exciting, folks. A lobby restart, while it does slow us down a little bit here and forces Slow Motion Fire to get everybody regrouped, what that does is it brings the pack back together again and makes things that much more interesting. Now, what also is interesting, and I'm actually not too up to speed on how it works, but for those drivers who were down a lap, 2 laps, maybe even 3 or 4 laps, I'm not entirely sure what happens there. Maybe they do, in fact, reclaim those laps as a result. I don't know. I'm just the guy on the microphone. I should know. I'll ask Slow Motion Fire maybe after the race has concluded or in between seasons here. Figure out what the ground rules are around that on a restart when you're several laps down. It's not like the lucky dog in NASCAR where you just gain your 1 lap back. I mean, I guess for those who are 1 lap down, it is effectively that. But for those who are a few more back, then just the one lap, but a little bit of a different situation. All right, we still have just our 21 of 23 drivers. We actually had more drivers out on the track when the restart was called than we have people in the lobby right now for the restart. So that's unfortunate. But we'll see here how much longer we have to wait. It's okay. Slow Motion Fire is saying it's one of those nights with the servers. Corona Vera says, turn 10 back. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, who knows what it is? It could be the servers, which I think are just Microsoft Xbox servers in general. I don't know. I don't know anything about the server situation. I just know that sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. Who the onus falls on when the servers go into shambles, I'm not entirely positive. I have heard, and of course over the last 2 weeks of not broadcasting, or at least not since Tuesday 2 weeks ago, I have heard and seen some postings about some server and connectivity issues, but at the same time, it seems to be relatively isolated. I haven't seen like a widespread rioting, if you will. When life serves you servers, drive lemons, as the saying goes. Oh, I didn't know that, Manteo. Well, I need to use that as a tagline for a race that I'll probably never host anymore. I mean, we had the 2.4 hours of lemons that I did, what was that? Gosh, probably about 2 or 3 years ago. Oh, my gosh. That would have been the perfect little slogan to go away with, and then I'd have to cut you a royalty check. By the way, while we've got Manteo in here and while we're waiting for this race to kick back up, Manteo sharing on Twitter the other day that it's been 10 years for him in the Forza Motorsport.net forums. I don't know that you've been a moderator for that long, but you have been in the forum for that long. And so big kudos there to Manteo Max, not necessarily for being in the community as long as he has, because a lot of us have done that, but Manteo Max is one of those guys that has gone above and beyond to give back to the community with helpful information, pointing people in the right direction, keeping things clean and relatively cordial in the forums, and then just generally being a helpful lad. I know that's a very un-American thing to say, but a helpful lad in the Forza community. So a little round of applause. Moderator 7 of the 10 years. Look at that. In three years' time, was able to turn that community membership into a moderator. Well done. That's far more than I've been able to accomplish. Of course, my time in the Forza community has been kind of these ebbs and flows of ebbs and flows in the sense that sometimes I'm here and then other times I'll fade out and then I'll come back around. It's been inconsistent. I tell you what, Manteo, I mean, my hat gets tipped to you for more than just that one reason. I mean, some of the let me just throw it out there. And there's a reason why I played, for those of you who are in the lobby or in the broadcast early enough to hear me playing Peter Gabriel's Signal to Noise. There's a little bit of a reason I played that. The community has been a little off-putting as of late. And I think at least what I was trying to accomplish here tonight in my little corner of the internet with what viewers we get here, and I do definitely appreciate every one of you who do tune in. By the way, Kick the Tires, Light the Fires for the second time this evening. Signal to Noise. We're going to put out the best signal we can. All the other noise that is happening in the community, I'm going to let it be, Let it be what it is, and we're going to do our best to keep things uplifting and exciting here. And so let's turn our focus back to the action. as we are back underway here on lap number 1 of what will be 40 laps now here to conclude things in the Forza Spec Racing Series Season 35 finale. And indeed, it's going to be SVR Blackout who was leading our race for the good chunk, well, actually all of the first part before we had to do the restart. Then RZA McQueen still sitting there in second position. AMS Storm is one of the biggest benefactors here of that restart in third position. And actually, I say that, and then I go to AMS Udakan, who is probably the second, if not the first best, or first largest benefactor here of the restart, running there in fourth position. Then back behind Udakan, you've got Kraytrim, Jacob TBOED, Carryout, Chaos Fox, Unku, Joe Beardy, AP1 Raccoon, Barney. Then in 13th, you find Slipstream. In 14th, you find Fear the Fun. And again, those drivers probably the most disappointed by the restart. They had only pitted about a lap or two before things went into restart mode. And so that pit was pointless. Pointless for them. Flip the Scirocco. Will somebody do it? Is there a place here at the Dubai City Circuit Reverse that you can flip the 2,473-pound Scirocco? I think I got the weight right. A little bit is shaved off with the race weight reduction. As we see McQueen, let's go ahead and right on board here with McQueen. Trying to chase down SVR Blackout. That would be something, right, in the final race to see somebody flip it. Flip a Scirocco. I feel like that should be a term used for something cool. And around the donuts they go. That's where we saw AMS Udakan barreling through back on lap 4 or 5 earlier on in this event. Look at this Blackout. I know he probably wasn't happy about the restart, but feeling pretty good right now. Got a nice little lead here on RZ and McQueen, and that gap between second and third is starting to manifest itself once again. We saw this on the initial start of the race. It's happening again here on the restart. And actually, AMS Udakan moves up to third. Let's go to Storm in fourth position. And by the way, AMS Udakan trying to go back to back to back. Season 33, 34, and 35. So it's not just Storm who's trying to pick up the second championship in his Forza Spec Racing Series career. AMS Udakan trying to do what few to maybe no drivers have done, which is win 3 straight championships. And that can only be accomplished, I think, Udakan needs Storm to fall back another spot or two to have a shot at making that work, but it's possible, especially since we still have a lot of racing, and back through the cones, or actually the tires, they go. The little stanchions, or I guess you can call them cones, they were already knocked down. Now they're taking aim at the tires. Right on board now with Storm, and you get a chance to see how dark the carpal tunnel here. Turn number 1 is. Headlights. They don't come on by default. It would be nice. Out of the tunnel they go into turn number 2, and again, the drivers have all named these corners for me. Out of duty-free shop, then it's to not that's not dirty, then Melange and Furiosa. Then the Outbreak, which I believe is just before Where is the Apex, which I think is right here. Because, really, where's the Apex? Then into turn number 8, the Camel Hump, or the Camelback. Camel Hump, Camelback. Turn 9, which is actually this part. I thought this was the Camelback, but this is Burj Al Chicane. And then up to turn 10, Yaba Dubai 2. Blackout, still our race leader. McQueen in second. We've got a car who's either on the inside They're across the start-finish line. No, actually into pit lane. I'm not entirely sure who that is. I think it is one of the back markers. Storm in 4th, Krejcim in 5th, Joe Beardy in 6th, Carry Out in 7th position, Jacob T. Boed in 8th, Unku in 9th, Slipstream is in 10th, so Slipstream able to move up. I don't see Fear the Fun in tow. As a matter of fact, Fear the Fun still back there in 14th position. Out in front of Fear the Fun is Chaos Fox in 13th, Barney in 12th, Unku, who I just mentioned in 10th, is now falling back to 11th. Let's go to Jacob in 9th. Look at this. They're going to go 3 wide. Slipstream to the far inside. Fear the Fun. He's going to be the icing of the Oreo there. And Jacob T. Boed on the outside line. Jacob goes ahead and secures the position, although he does give one up there to Unku. So to 10th he goes. And now Unku is going to drive off and try to catch up with Audrex. Fear the Fun is going to get his Scirocco a little bit sideways, but up to 11th. So he picks up 2 spots, make that 3 spots. And now here comes Fear the Fun to the inside of Jacob T. Boed. Down the stretch they come up to Carpal Tunnel. And Fear the Fun is going to make it stick if he can stay off the wall through the tunnel, where we have seen him throw some sparks. Then he should be good for 10th. And now we'll start to make that move up through the top 10. And look at that. Fear the Fun has some sort of line there. Unlike any other driver out there on the track, he goes well wide and then ropes it back in. Skips over a little bit of a hump there in the tunnel, and then just kind of careens in front of everybody. So as to say, not so quick. I've got this. Step back. Let's go back to the Virtual Autosport Rewind and see that move there that Fear the Fun made on Jacob for the pass. Getting things a little spicy out there. I like it. And let's see if it catches that part where Fear the Fun does his neat little maneuver here. As you can see, actually had Jacob. You saw the brake lamps. Jacob was anticipating. He's like, I know what you're going to do here, Fear. Go for it. And now Fear the Fun at risk of losing. Well, he has given up a spot now to Slipstream, who's fallen back a bit. Unku there in 9th. Man, all kinds of shuffling and jockeying for position here from 7th on back to, well, heck, even throw in 6th of Joe Beardy. 6th all the way back to 14th of LSM Barney. You've got about a 7-car pack here midfield. And who knows, with that much competition happening there, those guys might be burning through the tires quicker than others. SVR Blackout still our leader with RZ and McQueen there in 2nd. AMS Udakan in 3rd. Let's go to Storm now in 4th position. Ooh, things are heating up out here at Dubai, as if it weren't hot already, just looking at the environment. The heat wave effect coming off the asphalt, the sand blowing across the track. You know it. It's a nice balmy 110 degrees Fahrenheit or somewhere thereabouts. And here comes AMS Storm, who's dealing with one of our, actually no, I take it back, that's AMS Udakan. I thought they had a back marker that they were dealing with. They do not. And so the AMS brothers, if you will emerge from Carpal Tunnel together. Back through That's Not Dirty. It's Krejcim who's kind of sandwiched between a couple of back markers there before you have that pack of 6th, starting with Joe Beardy, then Audrex, DUR Carryout, Slipstream in 9th, Fear the Fun back into 10th position, Unku in 11th, Jacob in 12th, Chaos Fox is 13th, Barney in 14th. And then you got a little bit of a trip to go to find Mortismo in 15th, Sprazaus, Raccoon, Modern Weapon, Gumby, Greg, Kuda, Slow Motion Fire, Grim, and Fox, Jason D. They were able to get all 23 drivers back out on the track for the restart here in Season 35's finale. They're going to go 3 wide across the line. Amos Storm, Amos Udakan, and a back marker, Gumby, Greg. And Udakan with a little bit of a maneuver there. So say, hey, give me that outside line, please. That's where I want to be. You're occupying my space. And around without incident they go. Gumby, Greg. It doesn't matter how quick or how slow you are here in Forza Motorsport 7. If you'd like to race with the guys and gals of FM4, head on over to reddit.com/r/FM4. The details, or at least the quick link provided there by Nightbot. And again, I'm Dustin Moore. So good to be back here in the Forza Spec Racing Series for the finale. Was unable to provide coverage there of week number 4. That happens rarely. Usually I'm here for all 5 weeks. But at least here for the finale. And what a good one we have. Look at that. Tandem driving here in the front wheel drive Scirocco, 357 horsepower, 331 foot-pounds of torque, A700 here in Forza Spec Racing, the Forza Motorsport 7 title on the Xbox One and the PC. Amos Storm was looking to make a move there, and Amos Udakan quickly put the kibosh on that, but not so quick here. Through the tunnel, they're going to come side by side through the back half of the underground layer. And now back up the hill. Let's go to McQueen. No change in position here. SVR Blackout had the pole position coming out of our qualifying at a 1:18, 8 tenths and some hundreds and thousands. And ever since qualifying, Blackout has not looked back. And if Blackout is going to be a competitor in season number 36, look out. Solar Vision Racing Team might be back in the thick of the championship hunt here in FM4. And now Blackout's going to put Modern Weapon between he and McQueen. Let's see if that gives him a little bit of breathing room. Udakan has fallen back to 4th position as Amos Storm 1919 gets back into the top 3. Cratrim in 5th, Joe Beardy in 6th. Let's go to Audrex in 7th position. See Kuda there, one of the back markers. Carry out in 8th. Like Carry Out maybe bounced off the wall there on the inside of the tunnel. Audrex kind of mimicking that nice, interesting approach there that we know Fear the Fun has taken. So a few drivers kind of had that same mindset of swinging it well wide and using the momentum to bring it back across as opposed to braking, which if you take that mid to inside line there on the back half of the tunnel, you do have to apply a little bit of braking. And no, here we go. Is this going to be Modern Weapon again? We just missed it on the ticker. And so we'll see what the decision is here. We still have our top 5. Blackout in 1st, McQueen in 2nd, Storm in 3rd, Udakan in 4th, Cratrim in 5th, Joe Beardy in 6th position. And I'm waiting for the ticker here. Audrex, Carry Out, Slipstream, Jacob, Fear the Fun has DNF'd. And I don't know if that was voluntary or involuntary. Nice little battle here, and this has existed for quite some time. 7th on back to 14th, and now Carry Out moving up to 7th. Joe Beardy coming to the inside, and Joe Beardy's going to make it happen here, at least at this juncture in the race. We've got plenty of laps to go, but back and forth go Joe Beardy, Audrex, Carry Out, and Slow Motion Fire in the mix, albeit a back marker who, I don't know, in 18th position, I'm guessing Slow Motion Fire had to turn into pit lane at some point. Unku in 11th, Chaos Fox, who was in the top 10 for a bit there, has fallen back to 12th, and now we had, I'm sorry, I didn't catch who that was off into the dirt. Able to make a pretty good recovery. Was that carry out? I'll go ahead and do the old nifty rewind and see here just a moment. Drex now across the line, side by side, rocker panel to rocker panel, and Drex now will occupy P7, even if it is just momentarily. Going back to that rewind to see who it was that stepped out there coming up to the top of the Dubai City circuit in reverse, and that was Drex. Getting out into the dirt, able to make a pretty good recovery, but did lose one spot there to carry out, and has now claimed it back. Give me 7th position. Drex, a veteran here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. I don't know if I had to guess, probably has one of the higher number of races under his belt compared to any of the drivers out here. Of course, Slow Motion Fire would probably be the one who has the most, but Drex has got to rank up there pretty high. Squatch Vader says, have a good night, everyone. It's dinner time. Have a good dinner there, Squatch. Big J Bishop says, I crashed and then the game crashed. Yeah. If you crash hard enough, your Xbox will brick. It's true. It's true. Wouldn't that be amazing, huh? If for Forza Motorsport, they implemented a thing where if you crash so hard into either another driver or an obstacle, it actually purposefully resets the game for you. Drex all over the track trying to find a way back around Joe Beardy. I'm sure everybody would love that feature, right? Raccoon says, once again, Talon Motorsports is asking for another RF damper. Big J says, please, the servers are buttery. As it is. You know what, Fear, I'm clearly here to make things as complicated and unenjoyable as anybody could possibly imagine. Coming up with features that have no reason to exist. SVR Blackout still out in front here as we slowly approach. We're not quite there yet, but slowly approaching the halfway mark. 40 laps here on the back end of a restart, which this race was originally 57 laps. It will still have run all 57. And then it is still McQueen in second. Amos Unicon and Storm continue to go back and forth, swapping position there, third. And so long as they continue to battle it out, that might just be what Blackout and McQueen need in terms of security. A little bit of insurance up front. And it's Cratrium, Joe Beardy, Drex, Carry Out. We see right here, coming up the hill. Chaos Fox in 9th, Jacob T. BOED in 10th, Unku in 11th, LSC and Barney. And there's a nice little battle back here from 10th to 12th. And actually throw in 9th, Chaos Fox moves back up into the top 10. LSC and Barney, quite possibly with one of the deliveries that I appreciate most there. Is it Dinoco? Or Dinoco fueling station. That's a nod to Toy Story. Then you had a bit for tools out here, and there goes Barney head first into the wall. And without doubt, serious damage to that car. And that's going to be, fortunately, not a long drive to pit lane, but probably a stop that was not planned. As we go back to the Virtual Autosport Rewind to see that one. Coming up here to the Burj Al Chicane. And boom, there it goes. Xbox restarts. That would be an example of where it happens. Hopefully Barney can get into pit lane, get the repairs made, and back out on the track quickly. Here comes Drex with carry out back behind him. Mateo Max says, crash a car so hard it knocks you back into a car from an older era. Yeah, you go back to the old 80s, Scirocco. There goes Joe Beardy, who makes a quick dart toward the pit lane entry. And so Joe Beardy thinking, hey, maybe if I stop now, that'll work out for me. Our drivers are going to have to start thinking pit strategy here, as they weren't going to be able to go around the track in 40 laps time. And again, some of our drivers like Slipstream, Fear the Fun, went into pit lane before the restart, which set them back in the pack for the restart. Look at this. We've got a little bit of drifting going on here in the front wheel drive. Scirocco. It looked like maybe carry out. Here comes Barney back out onto the track. And one of the back markers, too, I think, was kicking up some smoke. Rim, possibly. Let's go back up to McQueen, who doesn't seem to be pressing the issue much here on SVR Blackout. Of course, that might be a poor observation on my part. We might talk to McQueen later, and McQueen will say, no, I did everything I could to try to get around him. I just couldn't find a way. Or what I'm guessing is that McQueen is being gentle with him. Not trying to tear up the tires too quickly. And really, I mean, what do you have to lose to sit in second position right now? You wait to see when Blackout goes into pit lane. You both go in at the same time. That way you know you both have the same tire and fuel situation going into the latter half of the race. And then try to make something happen in those last few, maybe the last 10 laps. Not trying to cause an incident right now that could take both you and Blackout out of the race. Who knows? I'm not going to pretend I'm in the mind of McQueen, but oh, look at that. I like the idea of trying to think of what these drivers are going to do, and there they go. Blackout ducks in, and with him goes McQueen. Here comes Udakan around the Yaba Dubai Do, and at least for now, will claim P1. And again, if Udakan can pull it out here, he's going to need some help from other drivers out on the track. AMS Udakan trying to go back to back to back. Season 33, 34, 35. Back behind Udakan is AMS Storm, who's a good second or two off the pace. Not entirely sure what happened there. Cratrim in third. Blackout now coming out of pit lane in fourth position. And look at that. He's side by side with McQueen. This is a special battle right here. And there goes McQueen up into the wall. Gonna throw some sparks for us, make it fun. Yeah, this is a real special battle here. And then you got Drex. Drex is definitely the dark horse out on the track. The guy is competitive, is as competitive as can be. And we just don't, I feel like I don't talk about him enough, although as I say it, I feel like maybe we do mention Drex quite often, but the guy's just there waiting to capitalize. That's the best way to explain Drex's style. He's quick, but at the same time, he capitalizes off of mistakes. So while you might be able to beat Drex if you can keep things on the straight and narrow and pointed in the right direction, the moment you lose consistency, that's when Audrex jumps in and sets you back a spot. Carry out seventh. Jacob T. BOD on the opposite end, or almost the opposite end of the track right now, coming through that chicane. Unku in 9th, Chaos Fox in 10th, Martismo is 11th, Joe Beardy in 12th, Slipstream all the way back into 13th position, not having a good run here tonight. Sprazalis in 14th, Barney in 15th, Slow Motion Fire in 16th position. And we do have 22 of the 23 who started. Fear the Fun, our only driver who has disconnected in a very odd way, crashed the vehicle, and there goes McQueen. Giving a little bit of a tap there on the rear left bumper. But as I was saying with Fear the Fun, yeah, crashed the car and then in turn, or at the same time, Xbox crashed him. MS Storm now into pit lane. That's going to allow... Actually, I take it back. Not Storm. It's Udakan into pit lane. That's going to allow MS Storm to take the lead with Blackout. Wait, hold on. What's going on? The timing is all goofed. Blackout is in first. McQueen is in second. Sorry, I'm going by the timing in game here, and for a second, it had MS Storm out in front. MS Storm now out of pit lane. I don't know. Actually, I don't believe Storm did pit. That was Udakan who pitted, which allowed Blackout and McQueen to get by. And sorry, sometimes when I rely too much here on the sorting in the bottom left, that can throw me off. But now things are back to what we were accustomed to before the barrage of pit stops there. Blackout back into the top spot. McQueen in second. Udakan out of pit lane in third. MS Storm in fourth. Cratrum in fifth. Carryout in sixth. Audrex in seventh. And now with these pit stops happening, it has spread the field out quite a bit. So we don't have that big cluster mid-pack that we had, oh, I don't know, 2-3 laps ago. Slipstream, though, back up in the 18th position. We saw him 14th or 13th not long ago. And so clearly he made a stop, which happened before everybody else, and then as everybody else went back in, he reclaimed his positions. So Slipstream not having the worst of drives, but at the same time, could be faring a lot better. He, on the bad end of the restart. Our restart. We did have our one restart here this evening before entering what we are now in a 40-lap drive to the finish here in season 35. We'll send off the VW Scirocco. Our champion will pick the car for season 36. I'm always excited to find out what that vehicle is going to be. You all should be too. Who knows? We could be going down to D class. We could be, I think S class is the highest that they'll go here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, or anywhere between. Back through the carpal tunnel. MS Udakan has no partner to work with, and I don't know if that's a good thing or an omen, because he was racing with his Amos teammate Storm for a good chunk of this restart segment. But now without Storm to contend with, he might be able to catch up here with our top two. And I'll be very interested to see what happens here with the point total. Again, we can't just go off the finishing order of this race. There is the factoring in of drop weeks, taking the worst week for each driver and taking those points out of the equation. Only your top 4 weeks. Although you really want to excel here in week number 5 for obvious reasons. You want to do good in every race, but because it is just this one race in week number 5, the points are doubled. And so where you might have had a great race for 1 week and then your second race in that same week wasn't so hot, you pull off a pretty good finish here in race number 9, and it's an easy doubling of the points. So more oftentimes than not, week 5 is a keeper. I love this battle. If we have this in season 35, coupled with the AMS drivers and Cratrium and some of the other drivers who maybe participated early in season 35 and then decided to back out after maybe some bad luck. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes drivers get into the season, have just bad luck through the first 2 weeks and say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and chalk this one up as an L and come back the next season. So these 2 drivers, the 2 AMS drivers, if we keep them for season 36, and then everybody else, oh, it could be a very exciting season 36. Here they come, lap number 25. I'll read through the corners here that our drivers have named ahead of this race here out at the fictional Dubai City Circuit in reverse. It's going to be Carpal Tunnel, followed by Duty Free Shop. Then it's up to That's Not Dirty. And you know what they're talking about here. You see the sand scooting across the tarmac, the asphalt. Then it's into Melange, Furiosa, the Outbreak, heading into that sharp left-hander, which is Where's the Apex? Right about here. And look at this, RCM McQueen gonna make that move on SVR Blackout. Well done, the old switchback. And for the first time here in race number 9, McQueen is gonna lead the pack of 22, what is 22 cars now out on the track, around for half a lap. And then we'll see if McQueen can do it for a full lap on lap 26. EWM Frog saying, good move. You betcha. That was a solid maneuver, and here comes Blackout, going to try to reclaim it. Says, you're not even going to get a full lap of the top spot. Well, McQueen probably thinking otherwise. Oh, that's very scary there. Carrying a lot of momentum to the inside line. There's Modern Weapon, one of the back markers, 19th position. He's going to slow these 2 down a bit. Then he's going to duck out. Well, I thought he was going to duck out of the way. Instead, he was just lining it up for That's Not Dirty, turn number 3. And so 1 and 2, they got a bit of a challenge here from Modern Weapon. Before Modern Weapon, oh no, and yeah, unfortunately, Modern Weapon just couldn't see himself out of the battle and just nearly takes out Blackout. Fortunately for Blackout, able to recover quite nicely, and he's got even more back markers up ahead, 13th position. I mean, we're looking at half the field, or the midpoint of the field in front of our leaders. That's how quick our leaders are going, but man, that could have been a lot worse for Blackout, especially since he had already made a pit stop. Let's go take a look at it here on the virtual Autosports Rewind. Ooh. There could have been some choice words, and there may very well be some choice words from Blackout to Modern Weapon after that one. Modern Weapon does a good bit of supporting the logistics end of things here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. So we know Modern wasn't trying to do anything malicious there to our top 2 drivers. It just so happened that he couldn't find himself out of the way quick enough. Good save by Blackout, and here comes Jacob. And Blackout through, where's the apex? Turn number 7. Gonna try to get the top spot back. He can't do it, and now he has to work around 12th position. And Jacob is no slouch here, folks. And Jacob's fighting to keep up with Mortismo, who is in 11th position. So it's not an easy go here for our lead lap traffic. They're fighting drivers who don't want to just peel away and lose time with their closest competitor. They want to be courteous to the lead lap traffic without just giving up, if that makes sense. And now here through the tunnel, it gets even more precarious. Another back marker gets into the mix. That's Mortismo. They're going to be 3 wide coming out. RZ and McQueen going to hold on to P1. Mortismo gets onto the rear right quarter panel there of Blackout. And again, Blackout in emergency mode here. And with a front-wheel drive Scirocco, that's no easy task when you've got somebody kind of pushing you around there on the rear non-driving tires, the non-accelerating tires, or I guess I said driving tires the first time. The driving tires are the steering tires, and so anything they're on the back has a tendency to slide you out. Now across the line here, lap number 28. It's all kinds of craziness. Let's hop on board here with Blackout. You've got McQueen, and you've got Chaos Fox, top 10 driver, and here they are getting ready to put Chaos Fox a lap down. Whew. We're in alien territory with these top 2, and there goes yet again. I tell you, McQueen just can't buy a break as he picks up some bumps from Kuda. Oh my gosh. Blackout is going to have one heck of a war story. I don't think there is a single piece of glass, maybe. I don't know. There's a few, I guess, the driver's side and the rear hatch. But, man, his car is starting to take some damage. Fortunately, it's on the superficial end of things and not realized in the actual vehicle damage. And here goes Unku, who is, unfortunately, there at that point, heading into turn 10, the Yaba Dubai Do. He's got a lot of room to let 1 and 2 go by. It's in the other areas of the track that our top 2 have just, oh man, it's apparently rush hour traffic, even though we're in the suburbs here. Can you even call it the suburbs? I mean, we're out in the dang sand dunes of Dubai, and maybe at least for now, McQueen and Blackout are going to get a breather before they have to contend with Fox, Jason D, who might not be as big a battle. It's just these mid-pack cars who don't want to give up position and lose momentum that have been the challenge. Fox Jason D is going to be happy to oblige and get out of the way for Blackout and McQueen. Blackout trying to reclaim the top spot and could use every single point, although it's McQueen who's 3rd overall on our leaderboard who could use the most number of points. And then, of course, he needs AMS, both Udakan and Storm, to fall back a few spots. Aftermath saying Blackout needs to quit scratching my paint. Aftermath apparently helping Blackout there with the paint job. Good to know. Let's go back on board now that Blackout has rid himself of the back markers, at least for right now, with 10 laps to go. Let's see how what he makes of things right here. Ooh, a little bit of a lag spike there. I don't know if that was realized on Blackout's end. Sometimes we just see it on the spectator side. That can be a little scary when you're less than a car length separated. And here comes Blackout to the inside through where's the apex, up along the Xbox signage there on the catch fence, out of Camelback and into the Burj Al Chicane, turn 9, and then into maybe second to the carpal tunnel, my second favorite named corner, the Yaba Dubai Do. Turn number 10 to the start-finish line. Let's take a look at the vehicle damage situation, or more appropriately, the tire wear. The fuel is not going to be an issue here for the remainder of this race, but yeah, we do see them now beyond the 50% tire degradation, heading towards 60%, which has been the magic number that drivers have told us. At 60%, you really start to feel the lack of grip. Get a little bit slidey there on the front tires, especially upon acceleration. Fortunately, you do have a lot of the weight there, that the engine and such on the front axle, but it's going to get interesting here in these last few laps. What could have been a two pit stop race with the restart, some of these drivers only stopping once. And now here comes Blackout, who continues to challenge McQueen there through where's the apex, and then has to go ahead and concede Camelback, and then back across the line, and then of course the tunnel they get. Well, actually, look at this. Here comes Blackout, who's going to be able to make the pass through Burj Al Chicane. He doesn't, makes it stick, and now the Hollywood liveried VW Scirocco back up into P1 where he qualified. And so looking to pick up 100 points here in race number 9, week 5. He needs every single one of them to have a chance at the championship, to do a little hop, skip, and a jump over AMS Storm, who's in first on the leaderboard, AMS Udakan, who is in second. And now here comes to the inside McQueen. He's not afraid to put a little contact there on Blackout's driver's side door panel. And now up the hill through the sand they go, side by side. McQueen taps the dirt a little bit, doesn't slow him down. Now up to Malange, then Furiosa, and to the Outbreak. My oh my, this is gonna get fun. And now here comes McQueen back into the top spot. So for not more than a lap, does Blackout get into P1 position before McQueen rips it back out of his clutches. And here they go, back into 8, 9, and then 10. AMS Udakan in third, Storm in fourth, who's in a whole slew of traffic. That does not bode well for Storm. Cratrim in fifth, Carryout in sixth, Slipstream in seventh. Those guys are on the opposite end of the track. Joe Beardy in eighth, Drex in ninth. And can you believe it? Drex has now gone a lap down to our race leaders. In 10th, it's Unku. Then it's 11th is Muertismo, Chaos Fox, Jacob TBOED, Sprazaus, Barney, Slow Motion Fire in 16th, AP1 Raccoon in 17th, Kuda, Modern Weapon, Fox Jason D, Grem, Gumby Greg, 18th through 22nd. Back up the hill they go. Lap 34 of 40. That 41st lap will just be a cool down. So lap 40 is where we're looking to see the dropping of the white flag. And then once they go around to the start of lap 41, that's when we'll see them come to a halt and figure out who finishes where. Here comes Slow Motion Fire, who's trying to hug the apex there through turn number 8 as best as he can to allow the top two as much room as they can have. Oh my, let's see what happens here out of the back half of the chicane, the bus stop-like area. Along the highway they go into the Yaba Dubai Do, back toward the start-finish line, lap number 35. This is tense. Aftermarket Aftermarket? Aftermath. That's it, GTR Aftermath. You got to change your name today. You got to change your name today. GTR Aftermarket. Aftermath saying heck of a great race. I don't say these things on purpose. I do apologize. No ill meaning intended there. Please forgive me. Back through the sand they go. Around the dunes, you see the skyline there of Dubai in the background, that megalithic tower. For those of you that have flown here in Microsoft Flight Simulator, just realizing the scale of that tower compared to everything around it, which those other towers are no slouch. It's just that dang needly thing points so dang high. Out through turn number 10 they go once again into lap 36. Here they go. Blackout's front two tires lined up with the rear two tires of McQueen into carpal tunnel, turn number 1. The Hollywood car, at least just for a little bit there, gets the nose out in front. And they're side by side once again into duty-free shop. You've got the digital camo-like design there of the tunnel tiles. And out they emerge with the 747, who seems to be touch and go, doing touch and goes here at the nearby airport. Quite a view of the racing action, I'm guessing. Here comes McQueen back up the hill. Can he hold on to it and again secure those 100 points, which he could use so much of? Blackout, of course, in 4th overall on the leaderboard. He could use the points, although Blackout, mathematically speaking, at a severe disadvantage to have a run at the championship. I think we'd have to have disconnects from AMS Storm and Udakan, and I am by no means trying to impose the commentator curse there. Hoping they're able to stick it out. T-Phrase says, do we know where the points sit? We're going to have to see here, T-Phrase. I actually don't know the different scenarios. I know, being a bad broadcaster, I wasn't able to get in that mindset before the broadcast, although I've been extremely glued in on this one. This has been fun, and we've kept our camera here on the top two for the last, 10 to 15 laps or so. We know we have the AMS guys who are back there in very important positions being determined there, but right now, as it stands, AMS Udakan in 3rd with AMS Storm well back behind. AMS Udakan, though, is a whole other situation. You see him in the background, which has probably got McQueen and Blackout a tad bit nervous. And the more they battle, the more ground they're going to give up. Blackout gets onto the back end of McQueen, sends him sliding a little bit. Some smoke out the front two tires, and Udakan is licking his chops here on lap number 37, coming out of the Camelback, back into the chicane, that bus stop, and they're going to yabba daboo die do it. I said it. I messed it up. I really should have done a lot better. The yabba da yabba doo do. There we go. Now we got it across the line. Lap 38. 3 to go here in the 40 laps in our 57 lap finale here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. And again, I'm Dustin Moore. Wasn't able to bring the action of week number 4 to you. Thank you again so much there, T-Phrase, for taking care of that. But man, this has been a lovely, lovely season number 35. And I think we're going to crank up the ampers there in season 36. It's going to get good. It's going to get good, as if it hasn't already. The amps are going to be skyrocketing. Blackout back up in the top spot. Modern Weapon is going to be a bit of a rolling roadblock as he gets sideways. So Blackout, who qualified in P1, sits out there right now and has about a car and a half length lead on McQueen. And here comes Udakan into the picture. And if something should happen here to our top three, you better believe AMS Storm, like a storm on the horizon, is ready to attack. I don't know what a fourth place finish is going to do for AMS Storm's chances to hold on to the championship here in Season 35. He's trying to become a two-time here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. But again, Blackout, he could really benefit from 100 points. It is AMS Udakan, though, that if he finishes where he's at, if maybe even higher in second position, if he can get around McQueen here in these final 2 laps, Udakan may very well go back to back to back. DWM Frog says, I don't think we've ever had this close of a race for first position in a long time, at least not in the finale. Blackout now going into a whole nother gear, and I know that's just a phrase, some sort of cliche, but here in racing, it seems as if he has found another gear in the VW Scirocco, and it looks like maybe McQueen is going to fall prey to AMS Udakan, and as a matter of fact, Udakan able to make that pass, now into the Camelback, up to turn 9, that bus stop, and oh my, will AMS Udakan lay it on heavy here on this final lap? Season 35, week number 9, Forza community. Forza 7 ain't dead. The Forza Spec Racing Series keeping it alive and well. We've got drivers from all ranges, from pro level to the folks who are just coming right off the virtual street here in Forza and having themselves a run in some organized racing. Reddit.com/r/FM4 is where you need to go. Season 36 details to come. Here comes Blackout out of the carpal tunnel. He's all by himself. AMS Udakan in second. McQueen has fallen back considerably to third. AMS Storm, let's go back to him here. Can he make a run at third? That'll be huge for that Umbrella Corporation Resident Evil liveried car, that Scirocco. And AMS Storm, yeah, it's looking something fierce coming through the sand. He's got McQueen out in front of him, and McQueen is seemingly just going to give it up to AMS Storm. He does. Up to third goes Storm. I didn't think he was going to be able to grab himself a podium spot, but that's exactly what he'll do. And right now, it's looking like the Solar Vision Racing Team driver of Blackout is going to cross the line in first place. He will indeed. Well done by Blackout, qualifying in front, and had not given up more than maybe 8 to 10 laps of the top spot before getting back out in front and nabbing it here in race number 9. AMS Udakan in second. Storm will pick up third. RZM McQueen in fourth. And here comes Craytrim closing in on McQueen. I don't know if McQueen maybe got caught up into the wall here. Let's see what happens into the Yabba Dubai Do. Oh, sure, I do it good now. Here comes Craytrim. And securing your world there with the, I can't remember what that company is. Across the line, the fictional company. Across the line in fifth is Craytrim. McQueen holds on to fourth. Carry Out would come across and is going to come across the line in sixth position. Slipstream in seventh. Joe Beardy in eighth. Drex will get ninth. Jacob T. B.O.D. in 10th, followed by Chaos Fox, Muertismo, Unku, Sprizaus, AP1 Raccoon in 15th, Barney in 16th, Kuda in 17th, Slow Motion Fire in 18th position, Modern Weapon in 19th, Fox Jason D in 20th, Grim, Gumby Greg round out the 22 drivers, unfortunately losing Fear the Fun earlier on in this restart. Folks, that was probably one of the more exciting finishes and finales that we've had in any of the last, 15 Forza Spec Racing Series seasons that I have covered, and I promise you that sets us up for a very riveting season number 36. It's not all said and done, folks. We're going to go ahead, take a little bit of a break. When we come back, we'll talk to some of our drivers in the driver's spotlight. Slow Motion Fire is going to tally up the points and announce our unofficial champion here in season 35. I'm Dustin Moore. You're watching the Forza Spec Racing Series here live on Virtual Autosports and Twitch TV. We'll be right back. And welcome back, folks, to Virtual Autosports here live on Twitch TV as we close up season number 35. Slow Motion Fire is doing the things that community event organizers have the pleasure of doing because it's not built into the game, calculating all the points to see who is going to be an unofficial winner before he probably double checks it and then makes the official declaration of the winner. But right now, all the recognition goes to SVR Blackout, who had a phenomenal showing here in this final race of season 35, picking up the win and picking up 100 points, which will be super helpful on that overall leaderboard when it's all said and done. And there you go. That's how things looked coming in to week number 5, race number 9, with it being just one race tonight. Those points were doubled. So if you fared well here in this one, week 5 was most definitely a keeper week. Your lowest is taken out of the equation. Top 4 weeks of points is what counts toward the championship. It was AMS Storm at 292, who was at the top of the pack. AMS Udakan at 285. Keeping in mind, AMS Storm trying to become a 2-time champion here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. AMS Udakan trying to go back to back to back. RZM McQueen, seemingly out of nowhere, jumps into the Forza Spec Racing Series with a splash and picks up at least 282 points coming into tonight's race. And unfortunately, finishing in second. I had it backwards. SVR Blackout is the fourth place driver on our leaderboard with 266 points. So even with a 100-point finish, still mathematically out of the running for the championship here in Season 35. But that's a heck of a showing to take into Season 36 if we can keep him around here. Cratrim had some bad weeks that really put him out of the running very early on. 246 points coming into week number 5. Fear the Fun just not having any luck here in the final week as a crash, both of his car and then the console, is going to leave him likely at 219. DOR Carryout came in at 205 with Audrex at 204. And then, of course, you see the rest of the crew there on the screen. Let's go ahead and turn to our driver's spotlight here and see if we've got anybody who's wanting to chat it up with us. I do see SVR Blackout. SVR Blackout, what a great way to put the nail in the coffin here to Season 35. Well done to you. And, I mean, it really all started with great qualifying. And, sure, you may have given up the top spot for a couple of laps, but then able to get it back there.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Sorry, I think my internet's messing up. Is it all right if I quickly jump out and jump back in?
Okay. Yeah, go for it. We'll go ahead and have Blackout jump out, and then let me give it a second here, and then we'll pull him back in. I was able to hear him, so that's a good sign. All right. Blackout, can you hear me?
There we go. Yep, that's perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. So great qualifying session here coming into race number 9, the finale for this season. And, yeah, you gave up the top spot for a few laps there to McQueen, but then able to claim it back there for the conclusion. Well done.
Thank you very much. It was very difficult, and it was a really tight battle. Me and McQueen have just discussed it was probably one of the best battles we've ever had. We really enjoyed it, and it was a fantastic race from start to finish. I had great fun. It's been a fantastic league. Thank you for hosting the streams, Dustin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And you said you had a battle with McQueen. That's not the only battle you had. You had a few run-ins with lap traffic there, which almost seemingly took you out. But you had the composure needed to get to stay in it.
Yeah. What happened was, I believe, I can't remember who it was, but I think they had just come a little bit too wide, and I had to slam on the brakes. Didn't stop on time. Went to the side of them, went off track. I said, "Oh, sorry, didn't mean to do that." It was all right. But yeah, no, it sort of makes you code brown a little when it comes to those sort of situations.
Yeah, I had mentioned that you were leading for much of the race after securing the pole position out of qualifying, and it wasn't until we had the restart and then even about 10 laps in that McQueen really started to make a run at you for the top spot. Do you feel like he was kind of just toying with you and waiting there to see if you make any mistake, or was it genuinely you had the defense going in and he was trying to make all pass attempts possible? What did it look like from your perspective?
From my point of view, it was like just hard defending. He was trying to pass. I tried to make sure that he didn't get past me, and it worked for a good amount of time. He did eventually slip past me, so I had to think of a counter attack. And that counter attack, I believe, came through when the traffic was in front of us, and so I could fully take advantage of the situation we were in. And by the time I overtaken him, his tires were beginning to die. Because he said he had something like 80-something% or nearly 90%, and I was only on like 75 at the time. So for some reason, we pitted on the same lap, but he ate up more tyre than I did.
Yeah.
So
the tire situation we knew would be a factor here, and of course, who was able to keep those tires intact as long as possible was the benefactor. Talking with SVR Blackout here after the conclusion of season 35 with race 9 out of the Dubai City Circuit, picking up the win. What was the feeling like when you heard across the comms that there was going to be that restart pretty early on in the event?
Well, I wasn't really too bothered because it was one of those situations where if I lose my position, I lose my position. If I keep it, I keep it. I suppose what I was feeling was just to keep calm and carry on, pretty much, and that was it.
Tell me, how close were you considering going into pit lane at or around that time at which the restart was called? Were you
Yeah,
really
no,
about to go in?
I was actually going to pit on that lap. I was actually going to pit on that lap, so it's very lucky for me. Very,
Yeah.
very lucky.
We did have a few drivers who did exactly that. They pitted either that lap or maybe one or two before, and of course that could have made them happy. And again, talking with SVR Blackout here, so you don't grab the championship. As slow motion fire tells us that AMS Storm is the champion here in season 35, but heck of a showing, not only in this race today, but obviously to find yourself as high up on the leaderboard as you did. You were a strong competitor all throughout season 35. Can we? And I say this as I almost pleading and begging that you do. Can we expect Blackout in season 36?
I think so. I definitely think so.
That's not the yes answer that I was hoping for.
I think, yeah, no, certainly. I'll be turning up, see what car it is. Definitely give it a go.
All right, so my last question then,
I'll
what car would you like it to be for 36, season 36? What would you like to have, either in performance or just in general, the vehicle model? What would you like to see?
Any of the touring cars. I love touring cars, like, throughout. So if I could get into touring cars, I think it'd be brilliant. So maybe the RS3 or the Merc or something along the lines of that.
That would be very, very cool. I know there's a lot of touring car fans in the Forza community. SVR Blackout, great chatting with you here today. Congratulations picking up the win. And wherever you finish on the overall leaderboard, I think you should consider that a success. And I do hope that we definitely see you out there on the grid for week number 1.
Thank you very much. And thank you for being fantastic. And take care.
Absolutely. You too. You too. All right, let's go ahead and bring in SGR Chaos Fox, who during the countdown to today's event, you threw there into the pit lane our Twitch chat saying, hey, I'm just going to go for it here today. How did that fare for you?
It went a lot better than I expected.
Yeah.
I kind of was hoping a restart wouldn't get thrown because I was actually up to 6th at one point, and I was chasing down Jacob, but I don't know what it is. Restarts are just not my strong point, and I dropped back a lot. But I was able to claw back up to 11th. Yeah, I finished 11th, and all things considered, the season. I mean, I'm just going to be completely honest. The season was terrible for me, but I had a lot of fun this race. Good battles. I finished strong to kind of finish out the season, so I feel a lot better about this finishing up the season. Round 1 I did terrible. Round 3 there was that hurricane, so I had like no power. I couldn't participate, and just kind of glad season 35's over. But this race tonight was super intense. I had a lot of good battles with Jacob, Unku, and Bertismo. They put up really good fights, and I had a lot of fun racing with them.
Yeah, we always see great battles mid-pack. Of course, like you mentioned, you were far further up than mid-pack. It's just that it was so competitive around from about 6th on to 14th that a few setbacks put you back in 11th position behind Jacob and in front of Mortismo. Talking with SGR Chaos Fox here in the driver's spotlight at the conclusion of race number 9. You mentioned that the restarts, something about it doesn't work well with you. It just doesn't jive. Obviously, compared that to the real world where you're still in the car and you're still moving and you're just ready for the green flag to drop, there's kind of maybe the tenseness of jumping out of the lobby and then kind of losing your groove and then getting back in. Did you feel any of that, or was it just because now you were around some traffic that it didn't work out for you? You were much better off when you were in the pack that you were with when the race before the race restarted?
It's definitely a combination of, you get out of your groove, you're not racing anymore, and you're surrounded by traffic. It's like another race starting essentially. So you're on cold tires. You got to worry about not hitting people, getting back into your groove, and that's really what throws me off. And I just hemorrhage positions, but I was able to claw my way back up, but not back to where I was, unfortunately. But still, uh, I'm happy where I finished and just kind of glad season 35's over.
Man, you haven't stressed that enough. Do you guys, the viewers, think that Chaos Fox is happy that this season's over, or what? You haven't mentioned enough. All right, so what parting words would you have for the Scirocco?
Honestly, the car is really good. It has a little bit too much power, but aside from that, the car has a lot of grip. The car is really fun in a pack on the right tracks. That's really my only gripe with it is it just had too much power. But everything else about this car is so much fun to drive. It's just I had terrible luck.
Unku, SVR Unku there in pit lane saying, I think he wants another 5 rounds of it, which based on your thought, based on your opinion of the car, you probably wouldn't mind a restart in another five rounds if it meant that things went better for you. But, well, now we can wipe the slate clean. Of course, as quickly as we name a champion, I say we're going to wipe the slate clean and get ready for season 36. Of course, that's another 3 or 4 weeks away. Just kind of like what I've always asked of our drivers and what we asked there of Blackout. Where do you want to be next? Are we moving down in the PI spectrum, for your opinion, or do we take that little slight jump upward?
I really don't know where it's going to go from here. I have the feeling it might get a little bit faster, or we might jump back down a class. But honestly, I'm completely in the dark. But I'm ready for whatever gets thrown on the table.
Awesome, ready to take it on, ready to say goodbye to season 35, but then saying bring it on for season 36. SGR Chaos Fox, always a pleasure chatting with you. Any shout outs that you have here tonight?
Quite a few. Mertismo, Jacob, Unku, big ups to them for the racing. Big challenge, big fun, and big shout out to my buddy Blackout. Really happy he took the win. He's really fast, and he totally deserved that.
I mean, a lot of drivers deserved where they finished. There were some great battles out there on the track, and of course yours was one of them with everybody out there. Chaos Fox, we'll hope for better luck for you next season, and I look forward to seeing you out on the track again.
All right, see you then.
All right, and the driver who finished just in front of SGR Chaos Fox, we talked to Jacob T. BOD now here in the driver's spotlight. A 10th place finish here in your, if I remember correctly, inaugural entry into the Forza Spec Racing Series. If you hadn't raced in it before, long ago, 10th place for the final race. Not bad.
Yep. No, I'll take it for first year for someone that's never really done this before. I'd say that's pretty decent.
That's right. You said this was kind of your initial entry into organized racing, and yeah, that was a phenomenal finish there for the end. Chaos Fox mentioning great racing between you. Of course, Mortismo was there in the mix. You had Audrex kind of in scope there for a little bit, and then Fear the Fun before having a crash. He was flirting around in the top 10 as well. Just so many good battles there for you.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. Even going across the finish line, it was just me, Chaos, and Mortismo, just one right after the other. I think if they had another lap, things would have gone a little bit differently. I think they would have had me. That was just that was some tight driving.
And they would have had you because they just had a good run at you, or was it because you were facing maybe a little bit more tire wear than they?
I'd say a little bit of both of those, and I was starting to get a little freaked out. I'm not going to lie.
It can be a little intimidating when it's, especially when you say, "Hey, this is kind of my entry into organized racing, or at least with the Forza Spec Racing Series," and you've got folks that are knocking on the door. They want to get by pretty quickly. Talking with Jacob T here in the driver's spotlight. What was your favorite race here in season 35?
Ooh. That's a tough one. I kind of want to say this one.
Okay.
I had a good time.
Are you a fan of Dubai, or was it just because it was a good race?
I just had a good time doing it. You know, it was some tight battles, and yeah, it was pretty decent.
And as we know, things pan out here in the off season of the Forza Spec Racing Series. Slow Motion Fire will unofficially, I guess, publish the car. He won't announce it, but he'll publish photos of it. I don't know if you plan to be around for season 36, but if you were to guess the vehicle correctly, what's the track that you want to throw onto the 9-race schedule for season 36?
Laguna Seca.
There you go. Now we got a real winner. Amos Storm, you may have gotten the championship, but Jacob is the winner with the track selection here.
Mm-hmm. That's my favorite track. I'm not going to call it my home track because I live on the other side of the country, but I'll call it my home track, and it'll be really, really fun to absolutely get stomped by the actually fast guys on the grid.
Very cool. I mean, we've had some great races out at Laguna Seca here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, so I would love to see it back. We didn't have it here in season 35, which I think is a crime. It should be in every season. Jacob, well, it's been great chatting with you the few times here throughout season number 35. Anything that you would like to say either to the drivers or our viewers before we close things out here tonight?
One for the drivers, just congratulate everybody on job well done. You had a good season, I think. If you didn't think you had a good season, there's always next season. Mm-hmm. And for you, it was 2 seasons ago, I think, my Twitch name was Redbeard the Misfit. You called me Red Bird. I didn't appreciate that. I had to set that straight eventually.
That's on brand for me. If I'm not messing with Twitch tags, then I'm not doing my job. That's what it comes down to.
That's all right. I'm gonna quote myself at this point. I got you.
Very good. Very well. I'll accept it. I'll accept defeat in that one. Jacob, thank you very much for that. Well done here in season 35, and yes, do hope to see you out there on the track here in about 3 or 4 weeks' time.
Thank you, sir.
All right, he's been waiting in there ever so patiently, and Slow Motion Fire announced there in the pit lane or our Twitch chat that you are indeed our season 35 champion here in the VW Scirocco, ripping from the hands of your teammate, at least your AMS brethren, Udakan, who was trying to go back to back to back, and instead here you are now the 2-time.
Yeah, that was a stressful night. First off, I want to say a massive congratulations for an amazing season from Huracan, from McQueen, from Blackout towards the end there. His pace in that last race was just incredible. He's come on such a long way in these last couple of races, which is always very cool to see. Yeah, that was in the balance the whole race. I did not know if I had it until the very end.
What do you think it was? What was the differentiator here? I mean, AMS Storm, who could have very easily, based off of what happened the last 2 seasons, just could have come in here and dominated. But what was the differentiator for at least you and him? Surely there's probably other reasons why other drivers were equally as competitive. But what was it about you and this VW Scirocco that had you taking wins from week to week?
I don't know. I got off to a good start. First couple of weeks, I just like front wheel drive. I'm very, very used to, so I could kind of just click with the car sort of straight away. Kind of went through a more quiet phase in the middle when, like Silverstone race, I believe, Huracan's rapid on that track. It's like I was never going to beat him. It's just securing as many points as I could. Had a disconnect in week 3, I believe, as well, which obviously, kind of makes things interesting in terms of drop rounds. I kind of need to be on the ball after that.
Yep.
I mean, for 2 of those races, the main differentiator was tire strategy, and just knowing how far I can push the car and what that's going to do, like what that's going to leave me at the end of the race tire-wise. And you saw it, Lime Rock, the double overtake on Huracan and McQueen was purely just I held back and conserved, Same happened again.
Yeah,
tonight.
Quite possibly my favorite, the high point, at least for me here in the season. That was one heck of an overtake there on that final lap at Lime Rock. Talking with the AMS Storm, who picks up the season 35 championship. You finish in 3rd out here at Dubai, which, like you said, kind of made things interesting and had you on edge a bit. It was a roller coaster of emotions of a race there for you. I mean, we saw you drop back considerably Granted, it might have been due to some to pit stop and change in difference in strategy there, but to make your way back up through the field like you did was a heck of a demonstration of determination.
Honestly, I did not have the pace compared to the top 3 guys. My plan before the restart was just to secure 3rd place because that, Hurricane was behind me, so 3rd place for me was good. Once the restart happened, Hurricane's right behind me again. I just need to hold him up for as long as possible and hope that McQueen and Blackout can just run away, which almost worked.
Yeah, and you mentioned that the restart may have hindered you with regards to dealing with Amos Udakan and of course everybody else who's behind you. But did it give you at least a bit of a better feeling with regards to being closer to first and second, or was that not did that not help your feelings at all?
In terms of the restart, the only thing I was thinking was, what am I going to do with tires now? Because the restart was just at kind of marginal between a 1 and a 2 stop, I felt. I knew I didn't have the pace compared to Blackout and McQueen, so I was very happy to just let them go, let them battle it out, hope that they wear their tires down, and just hope by the end I can sort of take advantage of that.
Yep, and it seemed to have paid off as Amos Storm, our season 35 champion, was able to grab 3rd position there in that last lap, getting around RZM McQueen, who was 3rd overall on the leaderboard. So he could have used a better finish, but we'll see how it all shakes out when Slow Motion Fire does have the official tally all ready for us. Amos Storm, great season. Good to see you back up on the top. The last time you won a season was back in the X19, the first time I broadcast a Forza Spec Racing series, and at that time you were known as SVR Family Dude. So it was probably, I'm guessing, maybe a good feeling to be back on top again.
For sure, yeah. I think after that season, I did 1 race the following season, and then just kind of took a bit of a break from it. Sort of came back, with AMS and had a couple of disconnects in sort of previous seasons as well. So I was kind of hoping, this one just try and have a solid season at least. And thankfully by the end, just managed to pull through with it.
Held it all together, and despite that one disconnect, able to make the most of the other 4 weeks. AMS Storm, again, congratulations. I have to ask all of our championship drivers, and I know what inevitably is going to happen, but give us a hint. Where are we going? What's the next vehicle for season 36?
Of course. Well, I can't say it.
Oh, Slow Motion Fire is already gone. Slow Motion Fire has already gone to bed. He's not even awake anymore. Tell us.
Hey, there's still other moderators in here. I can say it's something that is genuinely different to anything that's been run recently.
Oh gosh, the last time we heard that, we ended up in a Ford F100. Care of your teammate, Storm, or excuse me.
We're not in a Ford F100. I can promise that.
Well, yeah, that much we know. That much we know for sure. Well, Storm,
it's going to be an interesting mix-up. It's going to be an interesting mix-up compared to, like, say, what we've run recently. Certainly, in the whole time that I've seen FM4, this car's, it's different.
What would be all right? So we're gonna try to take 2 puzzle pieces that actually don't belong together, and we're just gonna try to mash them together. What would be like the ideal track for this car that you have in mind? Which of the circuits here in Forza Motorsport 7 would this vehicle be best at, or be proper fit?
I'm trying to do this without actually giving it away now.
Well, you know what?
It's tricky. It's a fine line.
My job is both to, 1, screw up people's Twitch tags and their gamer tags, and then 2, try to get people to say things that the organizers would rather they not say.
At least Storm's a bit more simple than Hurricane. I'd say Hockenheim.
Okay.
I'd like to see Hockenheim next year.
Oh, I feel like we haven't been.
Whether we get that,
Yeah. All right. Well, there we go. Maybe that matches up nicely with the touring car that Blackout was hopeful for. AMS Storm.
He's hoping for a touring car.
Yeah.
Sorry, Blackout.
Oh no, we've already shot that one down. Well, oh well.
Sorry, Blackout.
All right,
It's
AMS
gonna be
Storm.
fun.
Well,
I look
I
forward
know
to it.
it's very late in your neck of the woods, so again, congratulations. Well done here tonight, and I don't know. Maybe I don't know if you're planning on taking season 36 off, but we'll look forward to seeing you whenever it might be, and maybe you can confirm. Will it
Uh,
be season 36? Will you be out there?
I love this car so much. I'm determined to be there.
There we go.
I want to race it.
There we go. So you see, Blackout. That's the kind of decisiveness that I need to see in these interviews. Blackout's over there crying because he knows it's not going to be a touring car. Emma Storm, I don't know. This must be like the 5th or 6th time I've said it. Congratulations. Any shout outs here
Thank you.
for the folks either watching or who you raced with here in the season?
I mean, again, just massive congratulations on the other guys for running a solid season. For Slow, again, for organizing all this.
Mm-hmm.
Yourself, for doing an awesome job commentating T-Phrase last week as well when he took over. The T-Phrase? I think it was T-Phrase. Yeah, when he took over as well. Just thank you to everyone that plays a part in this.
Very, very good way to segue our way on out. There are no other drivers in the driver's spotlight, but a great little, I would say, kind of an ambassador approach there by AMS Storm saying, hey, great job by the folks who organize this. The guy who commentates and broadcasts, he's garbage. We should replace him. But then good job by all the drivers out there. And so if you too would like to get in on the fun and you're like, man, Forza Motorsport 7, yeah, I know it's been out for almost 3 years, but gosh darn it, I just can't put the thing down. I want some drivers to race with. I want some clean racing. I want to be in a league that doesn't take itself too uber seriously. I just want to have some good racing. Well, if that race right there, the conclusion of season 35, and all the ones that have come before it here, the other 8 races that have come before it, was not enough of a motivator for you, I don't know what else we could possibly do. So make the commitment now. Say that you're going to be there. Season 36. The signups will go up probably, I don't know, I'm guessing maybe within the next week and a half. Soul Motion Fire, again, will post up some obscure photos of what vehicle AMS Storm has selected for Season 36. And if you are planning to participate and you guess the vehicle correctly, you have a say in what one of those 9 races, what track you will be visiting there in Season 36. So a lot of incentive to be engaged and to be participatory in the preseason activities, which does then include test and tune nights. So even if you're not the best of tuner, you can get out there, get some nice tips and tricks from the drivers who obviously excel in that capacity. And then in addition to that, you get an opportunity to get familiar with all the drivers, the guys and gals here of the Forza Spec Racing Series, kind of get that camaraderie going yourself and the other drivers. And then, of course, find out who you are going to be most competitive with in the next season. And that way that you can kind of set your goals. That's what I encourage each of the drivers who maybe if this is your first time attempting to get into organized racing here in Forza, or maybe you've been in organized racing before but just haven't put much thought behind it, I encourage you to set yourself a goal and then come back for not only season 37, season 38, 39, on to 40, and see how much you improve with time. We've got the next Forza Motorsport title coming out at some point. I'm guessing within the next year. I can't imagine it being much later than fall of 2021. And we'll drop into that one and see what new fangled lobby options, what newfangled cars and tuning and all of that we'll have at our disposal. A very good opportunity and time right now to get in while while things are really at a high point here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. Get in and be a part of the action, and then who knows, maybe we'll see you at the top of the leaderboard here in Season 36. And even if you're not, no biggie. Just do you, race clean. That's really the only prerequisite. Register, get your vehicle up to spec, and then race clean. So 3 prerequisites. Do all those, and you're going to have yourself a blast. AMS Storm, AMS Udakan, SVR Blackout, DWM Frog, Manteo Max. You'll see me watching you. Manteo, man, you're vocal today, and I know it's not a lot. It's not a lot of posting you're doing, but it's more than usual. And Mateo Max, glad to have you here this evening. And yes, do look forward to seeing you on future broadcasts. SGR, Chaos Fox, GTR Aftermath, or who I misnomered as GTR Aftermarket. My apologies. Slow Motion Fire, well done with the season. McQueen FM7 was here earlier. T-Phrase, Matt 6661. Sorry, Matt 6661. I completely missed your message in there. My bad. Big J Bishop, or Fear the Fun, who unfortunately got out of the race early tonight. Caster, Raccoon, Squatch Vader, Corona Vera. All of the folks, if I'm missing anybody, Squatch Vader, IR Baron, Cratrium, anybody who I may have missed in there, thank you so much for being involved and engaged in the conversation there in our pit lane or the Twitch chat. G Factor 1231, Cody the Surgy, Ruffer 08, Shrek 420 official with the host earlier. The other three aforementioned names, thank you for those follows. Ghibli Giblets, thank you for the Tier 1 subscription for 4 months in a row. Razor 118, thank you for the follow. Appreciate the support, folks. I know I haven't been streaming as much as usual, and there's good reason for that, but just know that I am committed to being here again for Season 36 when that gets kicked off. Again, all the details, everything you need to know as soon as they're released over there on FM4, or reddit.com/r/FM4. Let me just make it easy for you. Click on that link that Nightbot has dropped. Head on over to the sub forum and get yourself familiarized with how things are laid out there. And then, of course, as soon as we get any announcements here on Season 36, I'll have them available over on my Twitter, which you can find at VRTL Autosports on Twitter, at VRTL Autosports, or again, making it easy. Nightbot has it for you there. Click on the link, posting up information about the Forza Spec Racing Series. Of course, as more information comes out on the new Forza Motorsport title, which will be coming to the next generation of console, and then, of course, for us PC users, it'll just be coming out. I try to post up information there, too. So maybe if you're not, maybe if you don't have your finger on the pulse in terms of what's going on over at Turn 10 Studios and the development of Forza Motorsport, well, follow me on Twitter, and I'll help you out. And just generally, if you got great photos that you want to tag me in, if you've got great thoughts on what the future of Forza has in store, if maybe you've got some request for what you want to see, maybe some enhancements to your viewer experience here on the channel, drop me a line there on Twitter. You can also just send me a direct message there on Twitter. You can catch me here as a whisper on Twitch. However it is that you need to try to find me, you could do that pretty easily. As a matter of fact, I even have my my email address down below in the information section. So do not hesitate to contact me. Heck, even if you want to, even if you need somebody to vent about maybe recent events happening within the Forza community or just generally your life, I'll just say that I'm just open here for you to have somebody to chat with if you need to, even if it is virtually over the internet. And that way, we get ourselves a nice little community going here because, as I mentioned, I know there's some ugliness happening within the Forza Motorsport community, but don't let that be a sign of what's going on. That's only about a fragment. Yes, it is an important and vocal fragment of the Forza community, but know that there are a lot of us who generally are having a good time. We're not dealing with some of the issues that some folks are reporting. And if you want to come hang out with us and be a part of the action here on Virtual Autosports, the door is open. Keep it family friendly, and you'll be welcome back. Matt 6661, you are still here. Good to hear. Bone Crusher 2D, I haven't seen you since you took your break. Mostly took because I took a break too. I only took a break because I couldn't be here for week number 4. I've been broadcasting season 35 all the way through, and I'll be here through the entirety of season 36, which actually is a good segue to what's ahead. I actually am going to try to do a little bit of Truck Simulator, American Truck Simulator, here on Friday, our haul-in for the weekend, as I call it. So look for that at about 6 p.m. Eastern Time this coming Friday, and that's 2 hours of that. And then also, I want to delve into the world of Microsoft Flight Simulator. I had actually been an avid Microsoft Flight Simulator 2000 fan back in the early 2000s and had so much fun with that. I actually do want to plug into that. It's free on Xbox Game Pass, so if you have Xbox Game Pass, which, by the way, is the most amazing deal, or should I say steal, in gaming. And I'm not saying that as somebody who's like some sort of Xbox fanboy. Don't be misconstrued. it is quite possibly the most fan-friendly, gamer-friendly subscription service that you could possibly apply to or subscribe to, and you can play Microsoft Flight Simulator here today on your PC. Unfortunately, it's not out on the Xbox yet, and I think it will be coming to the Series X. But then, of course, all the other titles that are going direct. I mean, heck, the last the last Xbox showcase event, every single title in that showcase event was coming to Game Pass. Every single game that was announced at an E3-like event, it was the substitute for E3. Every single one of those games you could play on day one on Xbox through the console or on the PC. It's crazy. It really is crazy. And so pick it up. Play Forza with us because you got Forza Horizon 4. Unfortunately, Motorsport 7 is not on the list, but the next Forza Motorsport title will be. And then, of course, Microsoft Flight Simulator, like I just announced, just released yesterday. So I'm going to try to tap into that next Tuesday, since the Forza Spec Racing Series will be on its hiatus for the next 3 to 4 weeks. I do want to see if I can get that fired up. I don't know how well my gaming rig is going to be up to the task, but we're gonna do it anyway. G Factor 1231 saying, "Yo, Forza Flight Simulator 2020. I'm waiting for that to install. I did it last night, and it's ready to go. So I just got to hop in there." G Factor saying it's such a massive game. Ghibli Giblet saying Flying Simulator. Yes, Microsoft Flying Simulator is back, and it's in a way that is probably been the image, the vision of somebody for so long, and now technology has caught up to what that vision was, and they've made it possible where you're essentially flying around Bing Maps, which initially sounds like, oh well, it's just like Google Earth. Then you're telling me? No, I mean, you've got the awesomeness of Flight Simulator combined with the great detail of satellite imagery combined with this weird AI that generates the buildings and the topography in conjunction with those satellite maps in a way that's never been done before. It's stunning. It's really cool. It's a marvel. It's a technological marvel. And I can't wait to give it a go. I haven't actually even loaded up a flight yet. I have it installed, and that's as far as I've gotten. All right, folks. Well, man, that was a fun little rant. That's going to do it for me. Again, Holland for the weekend coming up this Friday. Let me go ahead and end on that. 6 p.m. Eastern. That's 5 p.m. Central Time. I'm looking forward to it. American Truck Simulator has been something pretty special as well. So come see me as I traverse or take. I almost said take flight, but that's for Flight Simulator. Let me take behind the wheel of my Kenworth and cruise across the western seaboard in what will inevitably be an exercise of highs and lows. Thank you so much, Matt. Ghibli, have a good one. G Factor, everybody else again who's here. And if you haven't yet clicked that follow button, please do. G Factor did it about 41 minutes ago when we started this conversation. G Factor, thank you. And anybody else, please click that follow button. Lets me know as the broadcaster that I've done something right. And perhaps maybe I've actually got a little bit more value for you here in the next 2 broadcasts, because I know things have been a little bit on the low end here on the channel as of late over the last 2 weeks. But we'll try to build it back up again. So maybe you'll find the value on the Friday broadcast and then subsequently next Tuesday with the Flight Simulator stuff. And then it'll let you know that the channel is live. If you have your notifications set up, or even if you don't have your notifications set up, I'll be in that follow channel section now on Twitch for you moving forward. That's going to do it for me here this Tuesday evening in South Central Texas. I hope you all have a great rest of the week. Keep it fun, keep it safe, keep it clean. Keep those masks on your face when you go outdoors for your own sake, and then, of course, for everybody else around you. And just generally have as awesome of a summer as you possibly can while staying safe and, dealing with the elements around us. We can only do as well as we can, right? If you get any more racing action in over the week and on into the weekend until we see each other again on Friday. Keep it fun, keep it safe, keep it clean. Adios and goodbye.